All right. Good morning. Welcome to Fifth Element Free Church. My name is Jordan. I know, Jimmy, I haven't seen you in a while. Paul, it's nice for you to be on. I'm really excited to introduce our speaker today, which is Emily. And before I introduce Emily, I'll just give a brief little overview as to my background and how I became involved in Fifth Element Free Church. I am a nurse practitioner by training. I have worked in the healthcare field since I was 19. And throughout my career, I found myself becoming less and less enchanted with modern medicine. And throughout, to make a long story short, through my healing journey and my learning process, just leave. Oh, I have more people coming in. Hold on. I knew not to start until 11:05. Okay. Good morning, Gordon. Okay, so back to my background a little bit. Nurse practitioner by training. I became very much disenchanted with traditional medicine. And through that process, I desired more and more to kind of do my own thing. And so I've done that in several different avenues within the healthcare field, one of which was actually opening up my own clinic. Another was I worked for a couple of startups, which were all very exciting. But through that process, I really came to a point where I really wanted to be able to collaborate with other healthcare practitioners. And what I've learned in my journey is that doing that in the traditional system is actually very difficult, and it's nearly impossible to collaborate with like-minded practitioners, do it in a way that's profitable for everyone, and is beneficial for patients and clients, and also stay within the bounds that the modern insurance and political system have set up for us. And so when I learned about, the private domain, when I learned more about bringing in, maybe not learned is the right word, but when I experienced bringing in my faith and my spirituality into my work on a day-to-day basis, it made sense that I would do things differently. And so I say all of that to say, once I discovered that there was another way to do things and there was a way to collaborate with like-minded practitioners and take care of clients and patients, and for everyone to have their needs met because there is abundance and everyone can be taken care of, that is about the time that I met Emily. And that is kind of how we came to meet. We worked in another ministry together in the healthcare realm. And so whenever I kind of branched off and helped to start Fifth Element Free Church, I asked Emily if she would mind being a part of it. And part of that is her getting to share her knowledge and her history with all of you guys. So I'm very excited to have her here today. For those of you who don't know Emily, she is I don't want to say difficult to explain because that's not an accurate representation, but she has such a vast background and varied background in such a holistic way that she has lived her life that it is hard to sum her up in a few sentences. But I will do my best, at least from my perspective. So Emily is an amazing women's health healer, but it's even more than that. Emily helps people, and I don't want to say just women because it's not even accurate. She helps people really connect with themselves and really live holistically within the elements and within themselves, and then heal from that place. So what I love about Emily is she's not over here trying to externally heal someone. She's actually trying to help people heal themselves by supporting them from a holistic perspective, meaning body, mind, soul, spirit, etc. And by helping women, she has also found herself helping the men in their life and the children in their life, and etc., etc. So I will pass it over to you, Emily, and the floor is yours for the next 50 minutes or so.
Thank you so much, Jordan. Thank you for all you've done to create this space and this community that's growing every day. It's really, really beautiful and inspiring and just fills me with, yeah, loving energy and hope for the world. So that's what I'm also hoping will be um, part of our experience together today is just really tapping into that fountain of life. Yeah, right back to the elemental forces that really yeah, when we start from there and simplify and kind of relax into the web of life, in my experience life can be a lot more enjoyable and interesting, and healing can be a lot more um, effective, like can happen very quickly. So yeah, I'm gonna share a little bit of some stories of my experiential journey and why I'm offering this sermon. Like, why was I inspired for this to be the topic? Um, and I'm going to, yeah, I really want to drop in together first, just like drop deeply into our bodies through some guided visualization. Um, and I will also just mention that, as Jordan said, I've had a winding path, which has included um, many travels that I've been, journeys that I've been guided on. And part of that was a 7-year journey through nurse midwifery training. And at the very end of all that, um, it was just very, very clear to me, as it was to Jordan, that um, for me to really continue to practice and act in integrity and authenticity and in alignment with the values of love and care and true collaboration, and to really be able to serve people in the way that I feel is helpful and holistic, I chose another path. So I have been, you can read, more about me um, on my website, on the bio, and there's more to come. But yeah, how did I get interested in this? How did I come to this topic? That's what I want to focus on. So for me, um, my healing journey really, I mean, I feel like our whole lives is a healing journey, but it really deepened when I became very sick in 2012. And I worked with shamans in Nepal and India, and eventually shaman midwives in Guatemala. And really, I learned so much from them, but to really distill and simplify all of that, it was very much about finding my own way of feeling really part of um, the whole world, really connected with the elements, which are our world, and like feeling my place on the earth, feeling supported by, like, allowing the support of the trees and the water, allowing the transmutation of the fire, like really giving that a chance, just a little bit, just like cracking the door open and they just floods in so much support. um Both my parents are doctors and do not believe in magic or healing powers or god or goddess or anything. So yeah, for me, all I needed was just a crack in the door, just a little bit of curiosity, and also um, a powerful illness, to open me up to these experiences. So, yeah, thank you so much for being here. And if you're tuning into the replay, um, thanks for tuning in. And, this is going to be a journey based on our, collective energies here and what I feel is wants to come through. Um, Before we go into our meditation, I also just want to mention that today I'm so honored and so I feel really blessed to be joining forces with Fifth Element Free Church and starting um, to offer sermons today, as today is a really auspicious day, a potent day. Talk to Jess, our astrologer, if you want to know more about this. But basically, Venus retrograde in Leo is starting right about now. And we're also moving into the sign of Leo today. Just really powerful heart fire energies of like reconnecting with really like what is fueling us, what do we love, what do we care about, and how do we allow ourselves to experience and express all of that in alignment with our hearts and what we want to bring, the beauty we want to see in the world. And today is Mary Magdalene's feast day. So I've been reflecting on, and just that we're in like the height of summer and things are blooming and blossoming and fruit is still ripening, and feels like a really perfect time to be having this conversation. To me, my experience with Mary Magdalene has been very much connected to this like deepening into my own connection with the elemental forces, and I'm just allowing the elements to fuel me and show me the way. So I'll share a little bit more in our journey about what I've gathered, what I've learned about Mary Magdalene and Jesus, but I'm not going to focus on what anyone else really says about them. I'm just going to share a little bit of why that came up for me. It happens to be her day. And I want to share a little story about my experience in what is known as her cave, Mary Magdalene's cave in the south of France, as that was very much a doorway into deeper communion with the forest and all the elements therein. Okay, so let's begin. First of all, we're going to be resting. If you have a comfortable place to lie down or just really like settle into your seat for a while. So before we close our eyes and settle in, just invite you to take a sip of water or any beverage you might have with you. And and before you take that sip or as you take that sip, just inviting in a moment of slowing down and really just saying thank you, water, and feeling how good it feels to have this liquid pour down your throat and slowly seep in, feeling it travel down into your heart. Maybe taking one more sip and feeling it settle all the way down into your belly. And just thanking the water together for a moment. Mm, mm. It's always replenishing us and healing us, but when we acknowledge that and just take a moment to appreciate it, just like makes more space for those, for me, it's like tingles of appreciation for being in a body, which I don't always feel when I'm just driving about the city, So, just noticing how much life is here for us. Okay, and when you feel ready, you can let your eyes flutter closed, just letting your eyelids be heavy. Settling into your place where you are planted right now, letting your jaw be soft and hanging down, letting everything droop down onto the ground, feeling your seat, feeling the earth rising up to meet you where you touch the ground, feeling the support and solidity of the earth, the seeming solidity. Just letting everything settle down, imagining that the waters of your body are settling into a calm, still lake, a clear lake, and letting all the mud just sink to the bottom. And noticing how easily your breath is flowing, like the tides, like the waves, in and out, up and down as your belly falls and rises. Maybe getting curious, asking your body, how would you like to breathe right now? What kind of breath would feel good? Just allowing that breath to fill you and flow. Mm, mhm. Maybe bringing your attention to just wondering if there's any place of ease, of quiet in your body, and just letting your awareness gently rest there. And with your next breath, just breathe into that place of ease. Maybe noticing that as you pay attention to it and allow it to be and breathe there, maybe it spreads and grows a little bit like water seeping into paper, letting the ink blur. Or maybe you're feeling somewhere like it just has a lot of energy, like an ember glowing. And as you focus there and breathe there, it grows and spreads. The warmth moves a little further through your body. And inviting your whole body to breathe. Maybe you can imagine your pores opening just a little bit, breathing through more of the space in your body. And as we continue to settle in, start with feeling your feet, just noticing what sensations are there, starting to slowly scan up your body, and imagining that as your awareness scans from your toes and your feet up your calves to your knees and thighs, just imagining that your feet are like sinking into the wet soil, into the mud, into the earth, until your whole legs are rooted. Imagine the feeling of mud underneath or around your legs, cooling you, softening your hard, rocky edges. This fertile ground we walk and sit upon, giving thanks for the mud and muck we have grown through, the compost, power and potential always beneath our feet. And just offering whatever you don't want to think about or carry with you for this next half hour. Just letting that, breathing that out and letting it rest in the earth for now. Just putting it aside, knowing that you can come back to those personal thoughts later. Those personal feelings will be there for you to ponder. But for now, just see how much you can melt into the greater web of life, feeling the mycelial network, just supporting all of life and death, supporting you, you, all of us, no matter what. Maybe taking a sigh or a wiggle to just settle into that remembrance. We're not doing any of this on our own. Your heart is beating, your breath is breathing, giving thanks. And as we allow our legs to sink into that feeling of being rooted in the mud, you can imagine and invite a lotus, a stem coming up from our legs, and maybe imagine a beautiful lotus flower resting where your pelvic bowl is. Just letting the energy of that open flower permeate through your pelvic bowl, holding, loving, clearing space for everything that your pelvic bowl supports. Your spine, all of you that rests upon this base. See if you can tune in to the energy of an open flower, just offering its pollen, offering its fragrance. Maybe imagining a butterfly or a bee coming to visit you and appreciate you and buzz in your nectar, allowing your essence to be felt and appreciated right now. And again, noticing the tides of your breath moving, giving thanks for the free flow of air that connects all of life, all of space. Noticing the tides of the water flowing and moving through your body, the blood that moves through your veins, and giving thanks for the fire of the warmth of your heart beating, pulsing, yearning and burning, the love and care, the mystery, the power, the fuel that keeps us going and growing. Feeling that warmth in your heart, maybe picturing that flame or ember within your solar plexus and just kindling, honoring that flame for a moment. Giving thanks for the fifth element as well, the great, great mystery, the ether that binds and connects and holds all of it, all of us. Remembering that your body is more than 99% space. Each atom is mostly space. And allowing that to relax, relax your body as you melt even further into the web, into the great web, into the space within and around, surrounding you. Mhm. Now let's do one more body scan, this time starting with your head, slowly moving down to your toes. This time, maybe noticing anything else you want to offer to the earth or to the elements, anything you want to let go, anything that's not really you or not really serving you right now. And when you notice that, like it could just be a sensation, or maybe you see a space where it resides, a color or an image. As soon as you notice something, it in its doesn't feel quite like the organic elemental you. Just freezing that space, holding that space with your attention, surrounding it with blue light, and offering it to the mud, to the earth beneath you, maybe imagining that you're freezing that energy, gently extracting it and burying it in the mud. Hmm. Might help to picture yourself. So we've been picturing ourselves with our legs in the mud. Now just imagine a big tree at your back. If you're laying down, you can imagine just soft grasses, flowers at your back. And if you're sitting up, feeling a tree trunk really supporting you, resting your spine into that tree, feeling the roots under your seat, under your legs, just feeling the power, unconditional love of this tree. And imagining a clear lake next to you in the meadow, and a little fire pit on your other side, or wherever you might see it, just bringing in a visualization of the fire. Doing another, continuing your body scan. And when you notice another place or feeling that's not, that you don't want to carry anymore, that you would like support in releasing, just letting the blue light surround that, extract that, and offering it to any of the elements that feels right to you. So maybe dropping it in that pond or that lake and just watching it sink down, feeling it sink down to the very bottom where all is transmuted back to soil. Mm. And if this particular sensation feels like it needs the fire, offering it to the fire, watching it burn and transmute, sending it up in the smoke, smelling the fire, feeling the warmth. It is done. It is done. Maybe you just want to hold it out in your hand and invite a bird from the air, from the sky, watching this bird come and just pick it up, whatever it may be, and carry it away on the wind, letting it dissolve into the clouds. offering it up to the sky. Hmm. Just give you a minute to scan all the way down your body until you are resting at your base. Just offering to a couple more of our elemental supports here and always with us. Mm. So now just feeling the space and the vessel, this outline of your body. Maybe you can imagine from your base up your body as being like a clay vessel of the earth, made of earth, fed by earth, held and loved and nourished by the earth. And as you notice that you are this vessel, perhaps you can notice that there's a little more space for your emotions to be held, to not be taken so personally, to just holding space for any thoughts and emotions that might arise, and just coming back to the presence, to the awareness of all that you are, all that I am. For now, we're not going to take ourselves very seriously or take anything too personally. For now, we get to experience communion with all forces of life. And as this clay vessel, just inviting in a little more settling of your essence, your soul, your spirit, just like welcoming that sense of your soul embodied, landing fully. As when we are aware of our presence, aware of our embodiment, allowing space, can be easier to feel the resonance and the essence of our energy, of the love that brought us here, the love that inspired us to be here. And now looking around in your visualization, you're in this beautiful, calm meadow with the warm sun shining down, with a pond nearby, maybe a creek flowing to it and through it. Just taking a look around your own inner meadow, enchanted by your own imagination. It may be faint, it may be subtle, it may be vivid when you least expect it. Just giving yourself a minute to see what you can imagine there. Maybe you see an animal, just giving thanks and noticing whatever arises, knowing that you're not making any of this up. This is life happening, and you are sacred witness in the center of your world. And now imagining maybe it's right there in your meadow. Maybe it's a memory of earlier this summer or earlier in your life. Just imagining what it feels like to have your feet in the mud, in the sand, in the clay. Just really letting your toes dig in. Or maybe you want to feel moss, so just imagining moss under your seat, under your feet, and just noticing, remembering, oh, yeah, that feels good. My body loves that. My body gets to experience that here. Mm. Just feeling the simple pleasure, maybe even a glimmer of gratitude for that. Remembering what it's like to wake up and hear the birds singing, chirping, just feeling how that lights up or tickles your heart. Just feeling the joy of the creatures, of the plants, growing towards the sun, going towards the water. Just so grateful to share their bird song, to share their fruit, to offer their seeds. When I think of the earth element and the nourishment and support there, I often think of sweet potatoes growing underground, just nestling, expanding into the soil. And the pleasure and the joy that it brings me to eat a roasted sweet potato warmed by the fire, like just the simple bliss. I imagine that sweet potatoes might just be like so blissed out under the soil, so willing, so happy to be fully consumed, to be tasted, to offer their nourishment and their sweetness and their nutrients. And in this way, all of life just wants to love you, be in reciprocity with you, be part of you. It's just feeling the sweetness and support of the earth element in that way. Again, feeling this tree behind you or near you. Wherever you are, there are trees nearby surrounding you. And all of these trees all over the planet are breathing in the carbon we do not need and the excess and transmuting it so willingly and lovingly without any judgment or any question, breathing out the oxygen we do need, creating more water and coolness in the air, just giving and loving you all the time. You don't have to do anything or prove anything. You don't have to earn or deserve anything from the moment you breathed your first breath. All the trees, all the plants, just loving you and just offering that breath of life to and through you. So, just taking a minute to bask in how good it can feel to be embodied, the simple joy of mm, having a sip of clear, fresh, cool water, quenching and filling you, letting it seep into letting your breath and the waters of your body just seep in anywhere that might feel dry or hardened or thirsty. Just feeling that fountain of life rising up from the earth, right under your seat, wherever you are. It's always available. Infinite, eternal love. Just the pure energy of a spring. Mm. Fountain that is flowing and flowing and giving and loving. Just feeling the energy of that fountain bubbling, of that flow, and knowing that you can connect with that. It flows through you. It wants to fill you up. That energy can always replenish you. And maybe it feels good to imagine and remember the feeling of water pouring down from the sky, rain pouring, the shower water pouring down upon your head, and feeling how it can just wash down into the ground. Anything and everything. hmm Just feeling the tickle on your skin, the settling, the soothing of the water flowing over you. Maybe you want to lay down, imagine laying in a creek and just letting the water run over your head all the way down your back, across your over your arms and legs. Just feeling the refreshment here, that you can always start anew. The river is always new in every moment. Every moment is really completely new. You. And again, feeling the earth holding you, knowing you through it all. There is that you, that clay vessel that holds all the water pouring through. Mm. hmm Maybe it feels good to remember and imagine, like really putting your face right in a flower, whatever's your favorite flower these days, feeling, remembering the softness of the petals on your cheek, ah, the fragrance just filling you, refreshing you. Mm, yeah, there's so much to be enjoyed here. Letting it really like feel good, letting it maybe even like arouse something in you. Maybe you want to imagine that you're belly down on the earth and pressing your body into the soft grass and smelling the moss and the flowers right under your face, and just resting your cheek on the ground and just feeling the warmth of the sun fire warming your back. It's got your back. And next time you sit outside, just inviting you to remember and practice this visualization. It's here for you. And if you are outside, or if you listen to the replay outside, you can even open your eyes and look around and remember, oh, this is real. These elements, this powerful, healing, loving planet is all around me and in me. I'm eating it, I'm drinking it, I'm with it, I'm of it. Wow. Mm, just feeling that love of life itself and the infinite energy that can move through you when you remember that you are life itself. Maybe next time you see a tree, or even now in your mind's eye, just give that tree a big hug, feeling your body pressing into it, feeling it touching you back, feeling that energy rising up through you and surrounding you. Let it be yummy, let it be simple. If it ever feels confusing to access pleasure in relation to other humans, just dropping in deeper to your body, your pelvic floor, and the fertile soil, the fertile life underneath and surrounding you, the air holding you, and just spend some minutes there. Notice if there's any enjoyment in that, letting that fill you, love you. You are so greatly loved. This love is keeping your heart beating. It's keeping you feeling and growing and all the time here for you, with you, as you. From joy you came, for joy you live, in sacred joy you melt again. Hmm. So, keeping your eyes closed and relaxed if that feels good for you. I'm going to share a brief poem and a brief story. If you would like to let your eyes slowly flutter open and wiggle your fingers, enjoy some water, or feel free to open your eyes and come back here. And again, feel free to keep resting and imagining as I speak. So, I want to share a poem that very beautifully synchronistically popped up this morning um, on my friend's page. And I love that this is an anonymous quote. It's by Anonymous. I love that because, yeah, because it's just, to me, it's coming from all of life. And to me, it was beautiful that it showed up this morning. It says, "Nothing in nature lives for itself. Rivers don't drink their own water. Trees don't eat their own fruit. Sun doesn't give heat for itself. Flowers don't spread fragrance for themselves. Living for others is the rule of nature, and therein lies the secret of living. Rejuvenation endlessly with love." So this quote, I just reminds me of kind of the essence of this sermon to me is like, yes, also we just moved into a new collective shift of the Aries and Libra nodes that we will be in for the next year and a half. And the collective theme here, as far as I can gather, is really about surrendering to that um, joy of finding that right relationship and reciprocity of living for others, and of course living for and with ourselves first and foremost. And just um, when it says living for others is the secret of living, I mean, to me it's kind of like, it's more like the secret of nature, of like how plants and animals seem to be more, to me, at peace. Like peace and joy comes naturally when we feel our connection to the web of life, and when we feel the joy of being able to be alive and offer ourselves and be in service to the whole, and know that we are part of and intricately, intimately, deeply, fully connected with life. It's just really yummy and really simple. It doesn't have to be any big mission to accomplish. It's like, the joy of offering our presence, our essence, our love, and our care, and being moved by life, letting life move us and fuel us. Um, for me, oftentimes that has really helped me come out of a depression or something I'm ruminating about in my own life, to really just remember that bigger picture and to move on those impulses of what brings, you know, what I want to see in the world, how I want to see a child light up with a smile, what would bring that smile, or that confidence, that recognition. So I want to share a quick story. We're going to wrap up soon. Um, so if your eyes are still closed, you can imagine this with me. Because it is Mary Magdalene's feast day, I wanted to share the story of when I went to her cave, and a little bit about how we brought the rain and the waters to a very dry and droughtful place and time, as I have heard Mary and Jesus once did. So, Mary Magdalene, there's this famous cave that the legend is Mary Magdalene lived and taught in this cave for many years in the south of France, in this very enchanted forest. And one day, once upon a time, me and some of my friends, some women, and I were walking slowly and quietly up this path through the forest, the path towards the famous cave that had been turned into a sort of church. And as we are walking, just feeling the love and power of these trees surrounding us, we began to hum, feeling the fae of the forest, and just singing together some melody that felt really ancient and soothing, yet invigorating. And this song began to brew and continue and grow as we reached the cave. And the cave, the first cave we came to, the one that everyone else was walking into, had a gate at the doorway, and priests, no priestesses, but a few priests walking about the cave, tending to the candles, tending to the altars. And as we entered with our very soft, beautiful melody that we were singing into the cave, these priests came over to us and shushed us, told us to be quiet. And singing wasn't allowed, talking was allowed, but our song was not welcome. And so we left slowly and happily, just made our way out of the cave and gathered right outside the cave and continued our song and our giggles and just getting curious about the energy there and what had transpired over so many thousands of years. And then a woman approached us whom none of us had ever met, and she said, "I will take you to her cave if you want to see her real cave." And we all said, "Oh, yes, of course. Like, this doesn't quite feel right. Is there another cave?" And she said, "Yes, I will take you to her cave." So we walked down this tiny little path along the mountainside, uh, and the sun, like, it was golden hour. The sun was about to set, and all of a sudden, before us, um, in the mountain, was this opening, this cave that looked just like a yoni, a vulva. I mean, really, really clear vulva-like opening. And it was just incredible thing to witness in the earth. And we entered the cave all together. Um, and as we went in, it got deeper. We went in deeper and it got darker, and the mud got a little wetter and slipperier. And we went in as deep as we could until it was so completely dark and slippery that we just stayed and got quiet and got curious. And some of us were bleeding on our cycling time and offering our blood into the mud and placing the wet mud on our bodies. And we began to sing again, singing, and suddenly someone had drums and was drumming on our deerskin drums, singing to our grandmothers, our granddaughters, and just feeling the power of this cave um, surrounding us, the earth just surrounding us with the opportunity to be born anew in this moment, to have our prayers be really held and heard. And as we emerged from the cave, we greeted each person as they emerged with a hug and an acknowledgement of the rebirth that is always available in each moment, the innocence of emerging from the earth. So I love remembering that story. And it reminds me of another story I've heard about Mary Magdalene and Jesus, and how apparently, legend goes, they went to places, deserts, where there was very dry ground and a need for more flowing waters and springs. And by really, my understanding is that by connecting deeply with the land, like we just did in our journey here, by really expanding their sense of self, becoming part of that place, and really feeling and tuning in with what was going on there, inviting and feeling what it would feel like for there to be flowing water, for there to be a spring, they actually were able to bring forth water, to bring forth these miracles and this replenishment and nourishment for all the life and all of the land that they live with and walk with. So I'm going to close with another really short story. I'll try to make it brief, but to me, I really like to mostly share from direct experience. I mean, those are the teachings that I have um, yeah, to me, that's how I learn, right? Through my own direct experience of life. So that story I just spoke about, I don't really know exactly how Jesus or Mary Magdalene did that or if they did that, but I can tell you about this one time when I was 18 years old and I was solo traveling in Thailand, and I ended up um, living with this family that I had met deep in the jungle in the south of Thailand. And this beautiful little family, they only ate fruit. And they had lots of fruit trees growing all around them. And they just, would climb the mango trees and eat 20 mangoes and then go play in the river stream and splash some water on their banana trees. And life was very simple until one day we realized we were in a pretty intense drought and our fruit trees were in need of water and we were in need of water. And it became, we had ways to water the trees, but it was running dry. And so the father of this family called us together for a family meeting. And he said to me, and his children were younger than me, he said, "So today we're not going to water the plants. We are going to acknowledge and really be with and really feel what's happening in this moment, which is a drought. It's been a long time since we've had a rain, and we really need to pray for rain. And how we're going to do that is by pausing, slowing down, and just our only agenda for today is to feel how much we need this water and then maybe go to the stream and ask for more water, ask for rain, but we're going to just ask through our bodies by feeling the drought. Let yourself get thirsty, feel the longing, feel the love, and just so that was our instruction. So me and the kids were like, great, we can go play. We don't have to do any chores today. Um, and, we'll keep that instruction in mind. So I brought them up the stream until we found this beautiful waterfall and this pool of water. And we splashed and played in the water. And as we were doing that, or really more like on our way there, we were looking around and seeing how dry the ground was and the trees and feeling all the feelings that go with that. And when we finally, you know, were splashing and playing in the pond, we also just let ourselves feel and bask in the joy of being in the water, being so quenched and nourished by that. And as we were playing in this water, these huge rain clouds gathered over our heads. And we just laughed and wondered, stayed curious. And in the next few minutes, it turned into a downpour, just a sudden downpour of rain. And the storm rolled in, and we like skipped back to our hut, just laughing hysterically as the rain poured and poured. I mean, it had been over a month in the rainforest with no rain. I think almost 2 months. And it was just pouring all night, all for the rest of the night. Um, and then and then the father called us together again and said, okay, like tone it down, because our bridge was washed away, the bridge over the stream. Like we were like almost getting flooded, which often happens after a drought. As the land remembers how to seep and allow the waters in. But I love that story. I love that memory. And so I will leave us there, closing with that, and invite you to open your eyes, take a little stretch, and if you are so brave and willing, maybe turning your camera on for our final moments together. And I know we're over time a little bit here, but I would love to open up for any shares or questions, anything that came up in that journey. I would love to hear what that was like for you, if anyone wants to speak into our circle here.
I just want to say thank you. It was a wonderful journey for me, and it was really replenishing to be able to experience all of the different elements through a guided journey. I think oftentimes we um, focus on one. Like oftentimes I think about grounding and feeling the earth, et cetera, and I don't get to experience all of the other elements that come with that or that are available to me. So thank you.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you for, holding the space and being here.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Yeah. Anyone else?
Thank you, Emily and Jordan.
Thank you,
Oh, yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave some links. And Emily, do you have a website? Do you want me to put it in here?
Yes, I do. It is Healthy Yoniverse or healthyoniverse.com. And it's also, you can type in birthing the beloved dot space. That should take you to the same site. Yeah, I'm excited for what's to come in further collaboration with Fifth Element. So grateful you're acknowledging the fifth element and how it binds them all together, and just so grateful for everything you're doing and all that is to come, all the ways it's growing. Yeah, and tell your friends, and thanks for being here, Gordon and Jimmy and Paul.
Yeah. And next week we have another guest speaker named Tanya. She's one of our ministers, and she will be talking about flower power. So there will be more details on our socials this coming week, so you can check that out. And I'll hope to see everyone again soon.
Perfect follow-up to this sermon.
Exactly.
And I will be offering another sermon later this summer about herbal medicine and the practice of really deeply connecting with one plant at a time and the potency and potential of that. So stay tuned.
Mm-hmm. All right. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Mm-hmm.